YouTube, it's Eleanor here, and today is day 2 of my Best of 2016 series, and today we're going to be talking about classics. So when it comes to the classics, I don't read as many as I do other different genres, and also I haven't read quite as many this year as I was expecting to, and I haven't read quite as many that I gave 5 stars as I was hoping to. However, I have got 4 here today that I want to talk to you about. The first 2 are both by the same author, and that is Pride and Prejudice and Emma by Jane Austen. I love Pride and Prejudice, I love Emma, and I hadn't read them before this year. I may have read bits of Pride and Prejudice, but I hadn't read the whole thing. I'd seen every single TV and TV series and film adaptation of these, but I hadn't actually read the books, and I was pleasantly surprised. Pride and Prejudice, I think, was the first one that I went into, and I hadn't read Austen at all before this year, and I had an Austen box set for my birthday last year in November, and I decided that this year I was going to get through the box set, which I did, so I'm super proud of myself for that. But these really took me by surprise, because I, like a lot of people, have that feeling that classics are hard. Classics are going to be hard, the language is going to be hard, I'm not going to be able to cope, it's going to make me feel inferior, and I'm going to find them boring. And this just wasn't the case with the classics that I read this year, and especially Jane Austen's writing. It's very engaging, and even though she's writing about a time period that was such a long time ago, the things that are going on just, they sometimes, you know, don't feel like they're current, but they just feel like they're the sort of things and anxieties that we all go through just in modern settings. And I really like her social commentary on the time, and they were just so much fun. And if you haven't read them and you've been a bit daunted, let me tell you, as a sort of YA general fiction easy reading reader, these were just so easy to get into and such a joy to read. So if you didn't know, Pride and Prejudice is about the Bennet sisters and their family, and their mother is trying to get them all married off. There's only girls in the family, she feels they need to be married, and really this is just the story of them growing up, them looking for partners, finding the right match, and it's just a really fun story. On the flip side, Emma is about an only child called Emma who is trying to set everybody else up in marriage, and it's just about her meddling, trying to matchmake and thinking that she knows better, and it's just a really good story. This one tends to be a bit hit and miss with people, but for me it really hit the mark and I really enjoyed it. Next up was even a bigger surprise for me, and that is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. Now this is a massive book, it's really chunky and it's small writing as well, and I jumped in and I thought I'm gonna give it a go, and I was really pleasantly surprised. Now there are parts in this which I found a little bit harder, and that was where they were talking about the war. I felt like I didn't really understand that, and I would have done better knowing a bit of the history before going in, but I did feel like I gained a bit of an idea of what happened, because there was sort of so much in there throughout the book. However, I feel like if I'd gone in with a little bit more knowledge of that, had I been an American and gone through the school system and been taught that at school, then maybe I would have enjoyed those parts a little bit more. But it didn't matter in the end. The story was epic. It was sweeping and epic, and it was just wonderful. And the only thing is that I just wanted more. I wanted to know what happened to these characters after it finished. I felt like we could explore these characters forever. I wanted to be with these characters more. Luckily, there is a sequel to this, although not written by Margaret Mitchell. It was, I believe, given the stamp of approval by her estate. It's called Scarlet, so I am planning on reading that one next year. But I just loved this story. It's set in the backdrop of the American Civil War, and we're mainly following Scarlett O'Hara. She's our heroine in this. She's a young girl. She comes from a rich family, and she's just had her own way quite a lot. She flirts with the boys, and she's hoping to make a good match. And it's just following her and what happens to her, how the Civil War changes the course of her life, and how a one man changes her as well. And it's just brilliant. And then the final one that I want to talk about in this video is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is one of my flexi-bound classics, and I love it, and I just loved the experience of this. And again, it was one that I'd been put off from. It was one that I kind of packaged up for some reason in my head with Wuthering Heights, thinking it was going to be really dark and really gothic and just really depressing. And actually, there were times where it was hard and dark and gothic, but it was such a brilliant story, and it was so easy to read, and it really left me wanting more. Jane Eyre is orphaned. She's taken into her aunt's house. They're not very nice to her, and she ends up as a governess at Thornfield Hall. Here she meets Mr. Rochester, and we follow them and what happens at her time there, the secrets and the trials and tribulations of the heart, and it's just brilliant. And I definitely recommend picking this up if you have been daunted and think that classics aren't for you. Again, this is one that's really surprised me and was very readable, and the story was brilliant. So that's my 4 classics best of 2016, and I will catch you tomorrow for the next in my best of 2016 series. Bye for now, BookTube.